Let's walk out here and take a look at the cows. This is 03. 03 is 6 months bred. She should be calving sometime the end of February, beginning of March. This is C1. She had us a calf, which is right there standing behind the black and white one, in July. So she is not bred back, and she will probably won't be bred until after she weans this calf. This is 09. This is Bootsy. Bootsy's a good cow. She's 6 months bred. She's a heifer. She's a first timer. She should be a really good mom. She's very, very docile and tame. This is 05. 05 is not bred yet. She was just a calf when she came here, and she's growing out quite well, but she's just not bred yet. But I'm sure Bully will take care of that in time to come. This is C4. C4, this big cow on the right there between the calf and the mama cow, is 6 months bred. She's a little bit of a crazier type of cow. She's not quite as docile. This is 08. She's the sister to 03. They've been here since the early summer. And 08 is 6 months bred. So she should be calving sometime around the end of February, beginning of March. This is 06. She's 6 months bred. She's very docile. Very good little cow. Kind of excited about seeing what her calf looks like. The cow we're about to look at now is C2. She came from Coleman Stockyard at the same time the mama cow that had the calf was there. C2 is 6 months bred also. And there's Bully. Bully's a good old docile bull. He's been here since the day he was born. So this is my feeding area right here. So I have feed through panels, and behind that oak tree I bring in round bales. The cows are able to just graze right in there off of that. That's a calf. She's not bred. H11 is bred. H11's 6 months bred. That's her on behind there. This is how they come into the hay and eat. I take a pitchfork and work that hay up pretty much every day, enough for them to get to it easily and graze. Then I have these boards here because this is the steer pasture over here, and the steers stay separate from the cows. I feed them a little differently. And then this is the bedding pack, and I got some old hay that I keep down so they got a good dry place to lay down when it's cold. They're able to go up in here and eat, and then they lay under this top that we put in this past summer, Beth and I. 72 foot long, and it covers them, and they're able to stay out of the wind. The north is toward the barn right there, so the north wind's not whipping in on them. And if it's south wind, it's usually warm enough here in North Alabama that it's not too cold. So these panels go the full length of the barn, and it makes it really not too bad of a job to keep them hayed. Plus all my hay's able to stay dry this way. And I've got gates at both ends, so I can load it from either end. I can open this gate and load 5 or 6 bales down this way, or I can open that gate down on the west end and do the same thing. So that's our barn set up, and that's our cattle. These tubs are 30% protein tubs. As you see, I've got plenty scattered out here for them to have as kind of supplementary to their feed and their hay. This pasture here goes around the corner there, and we'll walk up and see the old International in the other pasture shortly. It goes down into the wood line down here, and there's 12 acres here. And then if you can see through the woods, I'm not sure you can. We will see if we can get it fixed where you can. I don't really know how to do video like Beth, but anyway, through that woods right there is another 37 acres. They have plenty of running area. These are our babies. We love them. We try to take as good a care of them as possible. They get vaccinated twice a year, wormed 3 times a year. We use different wormers each time we go to worm them, because we realize that parasites become immune to certain wormers. So sometimes we give them a shot wormer under the skin, and then sometimes we'll do a pour-on wormer. The pour-on wormer seems to work better in the summertime because it also helps with fly control. So we like to use it in the summertime, and then at the beginning of winter, we'll get them all up and vaccinate them and give them their wintertime wormer through the shot program. Little 4-foot walk-through gate here. Makes it pretty easy in and out. This is the front of my old barn here. Like I said, this barn's 52 years old. It has 2 10-foot lean-tos that are 72 foot long on each side. I just use this front side for storing stuff, so I've got my manure spreader in here, and the old International goes in here and gets stored whenever we're not using it for Christmas decorations. And then out here to the side, which I think I've showed on previous videos, is the goat pasture. So if you're wondering what all these little holes are right here in the side of the barn, I had chicken pens inside there where at one point I had over 400 chickens in here. And they came out on this yard area right here. That is our garden area now. And they grazed out in this area, and then they went back inside the barn. I would open these doors and they would go in and out. This was their safe space. I had 9 different breeds of chickens here at one time. Found chickens to be a lot of work, but we used them to work our way up to the goats and the cows. This is the goat pasture, freshly seeded. These pastures will be done next fall. Now we'll walk over here, take a look at the old International, which still cranks and runs really well, still works really well. It's a good old tractor, but it has some leaks on the outside seals on the axles, and I've got the seals. I just haven't broke it down to fix it yet, but it'll work all day long. It is a 1959 International 240. It's the same as a Farmall, but they call it a utility tractor. These tractors were made to go to Canada. In 1958, they were going to sell them to the people in Canada to work on their roads and do those type of things. And something happened when they went to ship them up there between America and Canada, and the deal didn't go through. So they ended up taking these particular tractors and selling them all up through the north area to plow snow with. They have a spot on them for you. This one particularly doesn't have it, but many of them do. That area right there where you see that little dome area is a place for you to put the handle to work a snow plow, which will attach to the front very easily through these bolts and that bolt system on the side. And so that's what these tractors were originally made for, but the deal, like I said, just didn't go through. And we use it in the wintertime during the holiday season, because those Santa Claus, when he blows up, he's waving at you, and there's his sleigh, and as you can tell, he's reared up, he's taken off, and there's all of his elves on the back. There's a pig and a dog and a flamingo and I think there's an alligator back there as well, and we use it for decoration during Christmas time. It lights up real pretty. Maybe we'll get out and show you guys whenever we've got it lit up good. We've got them set on a timer. They don't come on till 4:30 every day. We've got 3 really nice big oak trees in the front of our yard. Old season oaks, and we have several around the back of the house as well. And then these are all pecan trees that are down in the lower part of this pasture. This pasture is about 8 acres, and I generally keep this grass fertilized up and really nice and thick and green in the summertime, because I don't let the cows on it constantly. I just let them on it when it's time for them to, there's no water in there, so they're not actually doing a lot of grazing on this particular area right now. This pasture is like candy to the cows. As you can tell, it's been fertilized well. It's still got some pretty good green in it. And I keep it in really good kind of tip-top shape for the cattle to come in here and graze it down maybe 3 times a year when it comes up. And then right about this time of year, I turn them in here and let them finish this thing off. And as you can tell, they've done a pretty good job. They love it when they're able to come in here and get the good green grass when some of the others already died away and, died out for winter time. So I'll show you how I do that. 4 big pecans. I think there's 16 on this property here. If I was here close to the house. So it is the beginning of December here. And as you can tell, there is still plenty of green forage in here for these cows, and they graze it once a day down in here. These fence posts that I have going down this line, I can put electric fence up through here for a temporary fence. And these fences keep them out of this other area until I get it up and standing good. Hey, little robin. And then this area here has fences going down to that corner right there where that post is, and it does the same, and I'm able to keep them off of this particular part right here during those times. Also, if you can see down to that back corner, see if I can zoom in. There's the gate that takes you to the back 3 acres back here, where there's a creek and more green grass for them to graze. So there's plenty of it here for them. And then I done a bunch of cleanup out here last year. This was all overgrown really badly down into this area. I came here in here with my tractor and started working all this. You can see the piles back there. Started working all this and putting all this in fence-wise and cleaning this area up. So in the future, this will be more grazing as well down in here. Haven't been in here and plowed it up and got it all ready for planting yet. As you can tell, this is our fencing me and my son put in. You met Micah, next to the youngest son, but you didn't meet John Mason, who is my youngest son. And he came and worked with us as we built this fence in here. So there is actually really good sturdy posts, good sturdy fence in here. All of them are concreted in. This is a gate that will go through it. Will lead you down to the creek, and we'll walk down there shortly. And, we pulled all this wire back at the beginning of last spring and got all this fenced in once I got it cleared up and cleaned up. The way I do my posts, I have 12 foot between T-post to wood post, and I go 50 foot from wood post to wood post. We're walking down here to the creek. This is where we crossed the creek at, and I made a breakaway here. As you can tell, the fencing goes all the way across the top of the creek without a break in it. That was on purpose. The barbed wire has broken, that top strand. Down through there, I had a limb fall on it and broke it shortly after we got done with it, of course. And then I put these clips. Let's see if I can get you a close-up of that. I put these breakaway clips on the bottom of this because when it rains here, it really gets up. The water will be up over the bank right there. And it'll flood this little bottom area right here. Has to rain a lot to do it, but it does do it. And when that happens, these bigger pieces of timber that flow down this creek can just break that away, which it has done before. And I've got more clips. And I just go down to that corner because it'll collect it right down there and leave it sitting there. Bring it back and reclip it. And put it on once the water goes down. I'll see if I can get you a shot up the line. How we go up the hill. See if I can show you. There you go. We go straight up that hill all the way up to the corner. And then down this direction it goes straight up that hill and all the way to the corner of those 3 acres that are over on the right hand side. And all of this is built on landlines. So this particular area here is all built directly on our line, maybe a foot over onto my property instead of backing it up onto the other neighbor's property, because there was old fencing that was there and I really didn't want my cattle to get into it. So that's why that happened. This is an area here, I don't know if you can really tell it. You can see the cedar tree laid down right there. This is where the cows get into this creek and drink. And then I have all of this mess that I cleaned up. There's a pile. And there's another pile. So you can tell how growed over all this was. And all this was all pushed up with the little Coyote tractor that I have in the barn that you, if you've been watching, you've seen a video of. So my creek goes all the way down. I've got a little corner down here that I call Grand Central Station. And it's where the deer gather up and spend a lot of time. Not just deer, but coyotes, deer. I've even got pictures on my game camera of owls. So this big cedar tree right here is still here because those deer gather right under here. And this is the edge of the creek right here, which we have had no rain here hardly at all in the past 6 months. So this creek dries if there's no rain. There's an underground spring feeding that part we looked at a while ago, while that still has water in it. But this is where my road goes through to the back of the pasture, and this is actually where the deer will jump the fence up there at the top of that hill. And I don't know what they like about this area, but they absolutely like this area right here. I get them on deer cameras all the time. And I've counted as many as 20 deer under this cedar tree at one time. So I have no idea why, but they just like this area right here. And I guess it's probably because it's close to the creek and close to the water. Plus, you know, there's still a lot of good green grazing underneath some of that dead that's out there. A lot of green grass. Fertilizing all this keeps it nice and green for the deer and the cows. So it's really nothing to look off my back porch and see deer down here. Happens pretty regular, especially in the morning times. If you look back over to the right, you'll see the barn, see the cattle. They love to just stay in the pen up there, grazing hay until they all decide to come out. Then when they come out, you don't see them again until about 2:30. 2:30 in the afternoon, they're over here looking for their feed. So we're coming up on something that's not a pretty sight, but it does really and truly help if you're a farmer. And that is the old manure pile. So this one's very small at this moment, but all that comes from up there, I've already spread a bunch of this. Is why it's so small. You can see the area of how big it was. And once the little bit that's left there is spread, all that's up there will make its way down here for a year of composting before it gets spread. Creek's right in there. And then I've got the old water hose graveyard and the junk pile. I don't know if everybody has a junk pile, but I got one. Cattle love to gnaw and chew on hoses and get into hoses and wire and stuff like that. So I don't use this old hay ring, so I brought it down here. And I'll throw all my old hoses and crap like that inside there. And then there's the old junk pile that's got all kinds of stuff in it. That's been hauled, rotten boards out of the trailer. I put a new floor in our trailer, different things like that. It's the creek bed, and it is dry. Normally this time of year, this thing's running and about a foot deep over the top of the rocks. But we just have not had any rain. Well, hello, Houdini. What are you doing, buddy? Huh? What are you doing? How you doing? Yeah? You come down here to look? We have two cats. We have Houdini, and we have Butterscotch. They are barn cats, and they are really good mousers. The old manure wagon. I bought this trailer new a few years ago, and now, since I got a different one, we just pile the manure from up there on this trailer. I'll bring it down here, and I can use my tractor to just slide it off. I have a grapple on my tractor that just reaches in there and grabs that manure and sets it off in a pile. But all this fencing's been done in the 4 years that we've been here. So the fences that were here were old and kind of broken in. This really wasn't, they were barbed wire. So all those T-posts got pulled up. This corral was built. Those 3 small pastures over there were built in the back. Really 2 of them are for goats. But when the cows go to calve, the calving cows will be kept in this pasture over here away from the steers, and they'll have their own little spot. And then the head catch system's right up there, and I think you guys walked through the head catch system with me. If you hadn't, I have a video on that I'll download or upload and show you how all that works. But if we have a problem with a calving cow, and we do have 5 of our heifers that are calving for the 5 heifers that are calving for the first time. 2 of them are cows, but the other 5 are heifers. So that's why we're going to move them in there and allow them to calve in that pen for their first time, just in case we run into troubles. Maybe have to call the vet or whatever. So. But anyway, that's a look at our 12 acres around here. All of our pasture, cows. And I got my 4-wheeler running, or side-by-side, whatever you want to call it, by just cleaning the spark plug, so I'm kind of tickled about that. And I'd already started looking for a new one. And now I don't think I'm going to have to buy one, so that's pretty awesome. I'm not going to try and do all this that has to be done around here without some way of getting me from point to point. So these are my implements: hole digger, bush hog, landscaping blade. This is a little scrape blade, turning plow, disc, We got a little wagon here that don't get used very often, but occasionally we'll get that little wagon out when we got our garden going and use it. Forks for the old Coyote. Hay forks. Box blade. And the old drag harrow. And then we got the hay forks on the Coyote. So, well, that's a nice little calf, born in July. I think she's gonna be really a nice little calf. She's growing out so well. But this is a look at a hobby farm. And we absolutely love our little hobby farm. So thank you guys. Thank y'all for watching.